You want me to put that on my Tudor?
This one's wife. The Sussex drug use. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. The issue of drugs is something that has cropped up repeatedly in relation to the Sussexes. First of all, we have Harry, who in 2023, he published his memoir, Spare, and in that he admitted to taking drugs, including cocaine, marijuana, and psychedelic mushrooms, while as a teenager, and also as an adult. He said, "It wasn't much fun, and it didn't make me particularly happy, but it did make me feel different, and that was the main goal," which is what he spoke of in relation to his cocaine use. We know that he's been a fan of the ganja, and he is in a place where he has ready access to this. Undoubtedly, his appearance, his previous drug use, and the fact that he has never truly resolved the trauma that he has experienced means that he's likely to self-medicate through the application of drugs. He isn't going to admit to taking them now, but there have been occasions that his appearance causes individuals to query whether he had been taking drugs of some nature. Furthermore, there is the involvement of Doria Ragland, and I've explained in parts passim about the connection that she has with regard to the use of drugs and how that may well be a conduit for that occurring within the Sussex household. Then there is this one's wife. Now, nobody has actively caught her utilising recreational pharmaceuticals, and she has not admitted to doing so. However, you have a mother who regularly has used recreational pharmaceuticals, a husband who has done so, and it is commonly the case that in such an environment that where other people are making use of them, a relative who is in close proximity will do so all as well. The fact of the herd mentality of human behaviour plays a part, but also there is the fact that this one's wife's appearance on a number of occasions has caused many people to query whether she has been under the influence of some form of recreational pharmaceutical also. Her appearances at concerts before, with a fixed stare and dilated pupils, the gurning of the jaw, the behaviours that she's exhibited, for instance, in the Billie Eilish video, had people questioning whether she was high. The manic presentation that has been seen where she's been chopping the air like a pissed up ninja with those oversized hands, again has caused people to wonder, is she on something? Again, it's important to emphasise that there is no direct evidence of drug use in relation to this one's wife, nor any admission of the same. However, given who she is with, Harry and her mother, and also repeated appearances, this raises the likelihood of the use of drugs also. But there is another factor which is important to understand in respect of the Sussex drug use. In fact, two factors. The first for Harry is that as an habitual drug user and somebody who utilises it in effect to numb the pain that he has experienced as a consequence of previous trauma, when he is subjected to the sustained devaluation which this one's wife as a narcissist doles out to him, one of the ways that he will seek to escape the impact of that isn't just going and hiding in the chicken coop, but it is turning to drugs in order to, and he's quote said this himself, to feel different. That when he's feeling low and miserable because his wife has berated him, that his wife has attacked him and insulted him, that she has put him down, that she's belittled him and invalidated him, he will naturally feel angry, feel sad, feel upset, feel down, feel depressed. And with somebody who has a propensity to wanting to feel different, It would be no surprise at all to learn that Harry then goes and indulges. Furthermore, in relation to this one's wife as a narcissist, she has an increased propensity towards drug intake. That doesn't mean that it's guaranteed, but as a consequence of a number of factors that I'm going to explain to you, it increases the likelihood that she would become involved in the imbibing of recreational pharmaceuticals. As a consequence of the fact that it's clear that her husband has done and likely does continue to do so, ditto in relation to her mother, this means that she has enablers around her, and with the wealth that they have, affording them won't pose a problem. But there's also these factors as well. By virtue of her magical thinking and her innate sense of superiority and a concept of omnipotence, she believes that she could handle drugs better than anybody else, that she can take more, that she can handle the range of different drugs with a greater degree of success than other people. The broad range of drugs that are available in the effect also appeals in relation to the narcissist. For instance, the cerebral narcissist might well boast about their extensive knowledge about the effects of drugs, different strains of a particular drug. The somatic narcissist would boast about how much has been spent on drugs, would talk about their stamina at handling the amount of recreational pharmaceuticals that they can consume. It may well be the case that victims are involved in drug taking, and as I've mentioned, the fact that the intimate partner primary source is an admitted drug user increases the likelihood that this one's wife would be involved. For instance, Harry may find that she's more pleasant when she's high as a kite, and therefore he would encourage drug use because then it provides him with some relief from her unpleasant behaviour towards him. Furthermore, that she finds that Harry's more amenable to what she wants to do when they've both been taking drugs. And it may well be the case that it leads to increased sexual activity because of the effect that it has on libido. The fact is, as a narcissist, she has a lack of accountability, which means that in her world, she could take recreational pharmaceuticals when she wanted, with who she wants, and wherever she wants, and she doesn't suffer the consequences of doing so. This means that she could do so in instances of, for instance, turning up at an awards ceremony or attending a dinner because she doesn't believe the rules that apply to her. Her desire to be centre stage drives the potential for the use of recreational pharmaceuticals because the provision of this, particularly, for instance, cocaine, acts as an accelerant to her grandiose behaviour, her sense of showing off and performance, and therefore taking it enhances the ability to show off and thus assert control and draw fuel. There's elements of blame shifting. For instance, she might well state, I only do this in order to get through the tedium of being with you, Harry. It's your fault that I'm having to take these things. Or there'll be instances of blame shifting others to avoid accountability, particularly if the narcissist gets caught. You should have warned me. If I didn't have to have driven because of you, I wouldn't have been caught out drug driving. It's also the case that the consumption of recreational pharmaceuticals by the narcissist will allow the narcissist to take refuge. For instance, the hitherto shrinking violet of the supposedly introverted mid-ranger, who is often innocuous, turns into a raging Elvis impersonator as their grandiosity soars through the repeated use of recreational pharmaceuticals. Imbibing them allows the narcissist to become all the more ebullient, impressive and charismatic, as it bridges the gap between what the narcissist really is and what the narcissist wants the world to see. Taking drugs removes the shackles which the cruel world seeks to impose on the narcissist and allows the narcissist to be who they want to be and who they want the world to see. The narcissist becomes freed of the fear of rejection, since nobody can resist the narcissist when they are buoyed by the drugs. The whisperings of the creature become momentarily silenced by snorting another line or having another blunt. How marvellous the drugs are to allow them to be what the narcissist wants to be and to take away all other concerns, limitations, and problems that might plague the narcissist. Drugs also act as a fuel substitute, and that's why certain narcissists with limited fuel matrices or malfunctioning fuel matrices will turn to drugs as a fuel substitute. But it is a short-term solution, one which cannot be relied on for a significant period of time. It can also alleviate the demands on the narcissism for seeking control by a lowering of the mask. This tends to happen with lower functioning narcissists, where in effect they find a sense of relief in no longer needing to have the subconscious mask portrayed. In a sense, it gives the narcissism a break from having to do all the things that the narcissism does, and therefore the narcissism seeks out drug consumption for that purpose. It also is an enabler because it can cause the narcissist to become more talkative, more interesting, more excitable, allowing the narcissist to appear more brilliant, thus gathering more fuel with greater ease. Accordingly, utilizing drugs has numerous likelihoods when it comes to the narcissist, as I've just explained, and therefore, as a consequence of the environment, the people that she's involved with, and also the fact that she is a narcissist, this certainly increases the likelihood that this one's wife likes to get stuck in to the recreational pharmaceuticals in the way that Harry does. What are your thoughts on this matter? Do you think that she's an habitual drug user? And if so, why do you think so? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. I'm HG Tudor. Thank you for listening.